So a common problem that we run into with Office 365 is that many people will add a second domain and give their users second addresses, second SMTP addresses that aren't related to their primary address. And there are a number of reasons that people do this. It could be different departments, or it could be completely different businesses, which was the case in a recent client of mine's need to change this. So for example, if you take a look at Bob3 Barker here, you'll see that the primary SMTP address is bbarker3@dsinc.com. Now that's his primary, and it's also his user ID. But he's also got this address here for bbarker3@evidusa.com. Now evidusa.com is completely unrelated to dsinc.com. It's a different business. So what happens is, if I want to send a piece of mail to bbarker3@evidusa.com, then obviously I'm going to want to reply to that email as bbarker3@evidusa.com. If I reply to it with this address, the bbarker3@dsinc.com, then it's just going to confuse the person who sent the email in the first place. Now, by default, you can't do that in Office 365, and that's a security measure. But there are ways around it. First, let me show you exactly kind of what I'm talking about here. So you'll see here that I just sent a couple pieces of email to Bob Barker 3. Now I actually sent it to the evidusa account, but it's going to show up as the dsinc address because that's the primary and that's default. So let's say I want to reply to this. Now traditionally what you would do is you would just click the From button here and you would say evidusa, and then you would hit whatever your text is and you would hit send. So what's going to happen is, you're going to get an undeliverable here. And this is actually expected, because even if you go into PowerShell and you try to grant send on behalf of to that address you try to send as, it's still going to fail. So there are a couple ways to accomplish the ability to send as a secondary address in Office 365. Some people like to use a POP account and basically go in, and that requires another license and another account, and it's kind of problematic anyway. Other people like to use a distribution list, which works perfectly well. The problem with that is it's kind of hard to manage, and you have to click the From button each time. My preferred method is to create a shared mailbox, and a shared mailbox basically will add that as a separate account here in Outlook, because we're going to give it full access permission. Then when you want to reply to that email, you won't have to click the From button each time. So the process is pretty simple, and I have recently blogged about it up on Office365ware.com. But what we're going to do first and foremost is we have to remove that address from the account in the first place. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. And I'm actually going to pause this and let that replicate around for a few minutes. Okay, so I think that's replicated around enough. So now we're going to go through the process of creating the shared mailbox. So we're going to say new dash mailbox dash name. Now the alias is a little tricky because it has to be really has to be specific. So we're just going to say bbarker3 evid. The trick to this command is the primary SMTP address, because that's really what's going to match up and allow you to be able to send as that address. So we want to make sure that that is going to be bbarker3@evidusa.com, and make sure it's a shared mailbox. Okay. so now it is created. So the next thing we want to do is assign the quotas. GB. So 5. Okay, so now the mailbox is created. The next thing we want to do is actually add some permissions to it. So to assign full access, we're going to use the command add-mailbox permission -identity. Now the identity here is going to be the shared mailbox we just created. So and then the user is actually going to be bbarker3 at dsinc.com. And I always like to use inheritance type all. Okay, so now that user has full access. So that does a couple things. That allows bbarker3 at dsinc, which is the primary account, to be able to access that mailbox in Outlook or through OWA. But in this particular case, more importantly, what it does is it auto maps that account to Outlook. Auto mapping is a feature of Outlook 2010 Professional and Professional Plus, and 2013 for that matter, that basically will automatically bring an account that you have full access to into your pane, if you will, in Outlook. Some people like it, some people don't. If I'm an administrator that has full access to 70 mailboxes, I certainly don't want all of those mailboxes being brought into my Outlook, but that's configurable as well. So now that we've got full access, the next thing we want to do is we want to assign send as. So we're going to do add-recipient permission. Dash access rights send as dash trustee and now we're going to say yes. Okay, now here's a very important step. Now you have to hurry up and wait. I would say at least 5 minutes, maybe 10. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording again and be right back. Okay, so I waited about 5 minutes here, and it looks like, yep, we got some magic that has occurred. So as you can see, this is the bbarker3 at dsinc.com. Now this is the primary account. Now, magically, through the joys of auto mapping, we have the bbarker3 at evidusa.com account that is shown up here. So we can expand that, and we've got the inbox. So now let's say I want to send some mail to bbarker3 at evidusa. We'll go do a different account here. We'll do decision support. And I'm actually going to kill that. And we'll wait for that to show up here. Okay, so you can see that that actually showed up in the shared mailbox that we have added, and it's sent to bbarker3@evidusa.com. So if I go to reply to that, you'll see the from is evidusa.com, and I can say reply and send. And you can see that the reply is bbarker3@evidusa.com. And that is how you do it. Now, if you've got 6 or 7 different addresses, this could all be done through multiple ones. But really, this is the easiest solution that doesn't require you having to select the from button each time that you do this. Okay, thank you very much.